I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, September the 19th, where we had a big surprise in last week's fed cattle movement. A lot more sales on a negotiated basis than what we had thought, because we really had no reporting of it at all. But that is going to be a boost, and I think that is a positive to help us. Slaughter come through last week higher than what we expected to, so some good signs here early in the week, and the feeder cattle board sure up too. But you look at the board for Monday, start the week out, live cattle futures, the October contract was down but just 17 cents at 107.57. You look out front a little ways there, your April board on live cattle was up 65 and it's up to 119.35. So that's also giving a boost to our calf demand here. The yearling cattle, the bigger cattle, will be done before that, but some of those middleweight calves, that could be a good spot for them to fall. Feeder cattle, the October contract, they're up $1.30 to end the day on Monday at 151.95. Like I said, a lot more cattle sold, fat cattle on a negotiated basis than what we thought. Last time we talked, all we knew of was through Thursday they had sold less than 17,000, but we knew they had some late day trade on Friday at the 106. Just didn't have any idea of how much. Market News had gone home by the time they had done it. We really had no idea how many had sold until we get to mid-morning on Monday when they do the wrap-up for last week, and when they totaled them all up in the 5-area feeding region, there was 94,100 head. So we were saying this was going to be the third week of really light sales. It ended up being the biggest week that we've had for 3 or 4 weeks. So a nice movement, nice clearance of the show list there, and another sign that those packers need cattle. I know that we've got less than 20% of negotiated trade, compared to what's killed every week, but still, those packers need the cattle as bad as the feedlots need to sell them. It seems like sometimes we get in here, we get heavy carcasses, we've got a lot of cattle ready, if not on the show list, but close to the show list. Cattle feeders get to feeling kind of down in the doldrums, like they've got something nobody wants. But tell you what, these packers are making good money on these cattle, and they want to keep this kill up. They're moving a lot of meat, and it's a good thing. And I think that coming in this week with that news, even though it was late, it could help have another maybe positive week this week, and what the heck, let's gain another buck or two. We've got the next several traded months running ahead of us on the board, so that helps also. But you look at the weighted average price for last week, live steers averaged 105.89. that was up almost $1.97 compared to the weighted average of the previous week. Dress sales, steers averaged 166.48, up but just 35 cents on the dressed, and the dress was quite a bit lighter movement than what the live was. But you look at the slaughter for last week, ended up being 642,000. That's a record so far for this year, the most heaviest harvest that we've had on cattle and hogs. But you want to see how much competition the hogs is, where they slaughtered 642,000 head of cattle. They slaughtered 2.432 million head of hogs last week. So that was the biggest week the hogs had so far this week too. But that big cattle slaughter was 31,000 more than the same week a year ago. Look at your feeder cattle markets, real-time index on Beef Market Central. Based on that 800-pound steer, come in late Monday at 149.78, about steady, but down 13 cents from the end of last week. We had some big high volume sales there, and we're starting to get more calves creeping up into those into that weight group. You don't see a whole lot of 700-pound calves, but you get a few of those coming in the bottom end of those 700 to 900-pound steers, and it's going to pull your RTI down a little bit. But Oklahoma City National Stockyards there, 7,000 head on Monday. Feeders were steady to $1 higher. The calves were steady to $6 lower. It's not that people don't want calves, it's just that there's more of them all the time. And these buyers know that there's a world of these calves coming. It's wet around. They had a lot of rain in central parts of Oklahoma. over the weekend, and guys were just not real fired up about getting them. Most of the guys are still busy sowing their wheat and not quite ready for some calves yet. Joplin Regional Stockyards had 7,150 head, and so a good run for them. Their feeders were steady to $3 higher, and calves similarly steady to $7 lower. So the calf deal is kind of backed up here. We're starting to get into the time of year where we're going to have big swings in our temperatures. It's still hot as blazes during the afternoon, but it gets cool there at night and early in the morning. I was up in Montana over the weekend, and they had a lot of rain coming down. Oh man, the guys fighting those fires were sure glad to see that. They even had quite a bit of snow up in the elevations, but talking to one guy there, they had a place on the map up there in Montana where it was 68 degrees during the day and then got down to 0 that night. But you wonder what makes calves sick. That's what makes calves sick, along with a little bit of dust and a little bit of stress and moving them around, and that's what happens. But that'll get worse before it gets better. October's your sick calf month, so we got that to look forward to or to dread. But you look at some individual quotes. Market that I don't know if we've ever mentioned on this report before, Faith, South Dakota, starting to sell some light calves real high there, but 20 minutes before 7 Monday night, they had 121 head of steers, weighed 492. I know they're 4-weight steer calves, but you put your toe on the scales and they weigh 5. But 121 head, weighed 492 at 203.50. They had a half a load a little earlier, weighed 395 at 219.50. So selling those light calves high up there in the Dakotas. Another market there down in the central part of the country, Sylvan Grove, Kansas, 129 head of steers at 6 o'clock there Monday night, weighed 768 at 158.60. That's your feeder flash for Tuesday.